I know what you're thinking, Zero, haven't you done 3 videos on mods in the past? And whilst yes, that is true, in those videos we covered the most essential mods, and a lot of those are really old. So in this video we're going to cover new mods that have come out in around the last year to show you some of the very exciting things these fantastic modders have made. And as always, I don't know every single mod, so if you feel like I've missed one of the best mods that came out recently, let me know with a comment below. So without further ado, let's begin. AiEnabled is technically a mod we covered before on this channel. However, since then they have updated it a little bit, and it did come out this year, and a little bit, so it still fits the list. AiEnabled is a framework that allows you to add NPC characters to Space Engineers that can perform lots of different tasks. By itself, AiEnabled lets you build 4 different types of companions. The Repair Bot, which will take items from your storage to weld up blocks around your base. The Scavenger Bot, which is an NPC that follows you around and drops random components, such as the exceptionally expensive superconductor. And the Combat Bot, which as you can imagine, has a gun. However, recently, they've added a new model of bot called the Crew Bot. As you can see here, the Crew Bot can perform a variety of functions based on what block it's assigned to. So if we spawn one in, and we assign him to this battery here, you can see at the bottom it says like and subscribe 8 will assume the engineer role. So there are 3 different roles these crew bots can serve. If you assign them to turrets, they will go around the base and reload the ammo of interior turrets. If you assign them to batteries, they'll walk around to all your batteries and have a chance to refill the charge on them. And if you assign them to production, they have a random chance of spawning consumables when they check them. I think the main purpose of the crew role is just to have some NPCs walking around your ships and bases. As you can see, I have a few flying around this base, hence that guy being like and subscribe number 8. Although they really like walking around on the ground, they don't much like walking around the base. As I said at the beginning of this section, AiEnabled isn't just about adding these NPCs though, it's a framework, which means it can be used by other mods to also add NPCs. One of the examples of this I gave last time is CrewEnabled, which has NPCs to hostile and friendly grids. Basically, if they have a chair or a cockpit on them, there's a chance of adding an NPC to each of those. And if I provoke them a little bit, you'll see they start attacking me. Although I feel like they're doing more damage to the base than I am. On top of CrewEnabled, there's also Robot Raider drop pods, which I had a very fun experience on one of my live streams where one dropped right on top of my brand new base and completely destroyed it. It was a lot of fun, let me tell you. And there's also Victims of Clang, which adds undead engineers which attack your bases and ships at night, just like another popular video game. Overall, AiEnabled is a very fun mod and definitely worth checking out. Star System Generator is probably one of my favourite mods to come out for a very long time, and basically it lets you create custom star systems. If I open up the chat and type in /SSG for Solar System Generator random, after a little bit of lag this will create me a completely random solar system for me to explore. There you go, it's done. I've opened up the chat and just pays up, you can see all the things it's done. It's placed a load of planets. And if I go into my inventory and open up this data pad, you'll see it's created me coordinates for everything it's generated. So as you can see, it's generated me a fairly standard looking solar system. The moon is orbiting Earth, Titan is orbiting the alien planet, all standard stuff. So each of the planets, as you can see, are random sizes. So you can see per time is generated at the maximum size, and I believe it's only 80 in the base game. And the alien planet is normally 120 kilometers, and here it's only 68. But as fun as it is to generate a random solar system, let me show you how easy it is to create your own custom solar system with this mod. I won't be going over all the commands in this video, as you probably need a full spotlight to cover that. However, if that's something you would like, let me know with a comment below. In this footage you're seeing behind, I'm spawning in a 250 kilometer Earth-like planet, which is 2 times the max size the base game allows. You can also add moons to planets, so I add a normal size moon as a moon to the Earth-like planet. Try saying that 5 times. I also spawned 2 alien planets orbiting each other, one of which added an asteroid belt around. And finally, I spawned in a 1 kilometer Mars, which is a massive 19 times smaller than the base game allows. There you go, that's done. Oh, I can see the massive Earth behind us. And here's our 2 alien planets that are orbiting each other. We go here, you see we've got our 2 belts around the alien planets. Here we have our kind of normal sized moon next to the, gigantic Earth. And finally, I feel like something's missing, but I can't quite put my finger. Oh, I think I can see it. I think this is it. A Mars that's so small, I can fly off it with my jetpack. Just for comparison's sake, this is 1 kilometer Mars, and this is full-sized Mars. And there's, only a little difference. Now there's a lot more you can do with this than just generate vanilla solar systems in different sizes. This works with modded planets, you can add asteroid belts, chains, you can add your own nebulas, you can do all kinds of things to create your own custom solar system, or just a random one for you to explore. What's that, little Mars? You're trying to tell me something? I'll get closer so I can hear you. What's that? We think the viewer of this video should like and subscribe. Yeah, that does sound like a really good idea. So, now that we have our new solar system to explore, we now need a better way to explore it. If you've seen my previous video, where I talk about, shall we say, my grievances with the jump drive, as part of that I discuss another mod, the FSD Supercruise mod. So on top of my ship, you might see a block that looks like a jump drive, but I promise you it's not. This is the new block called the frame shift drive, which effectively replaces the jump drive. So if I open my G menu, scroll down and add the block to my hotbar and select toggle Supercruise, and if I press 1, you'll see that I get this effect in front of me. You see how much power I'm using and the seconds to warp, and we're away. We're moving 1 kilometer a second, and we've just flown straight past little Mars. But we can go faster than 1 kilometer a second. If I thrust forward, you'll see at the bottom my speed is increasing, and so is my power usage. At 31, 35, 41, and then I dropped out because I ran out of power. Now you can see I've made a slight modification to my ship here. I've added 1 extra reactor on the bottom and 2 more on the back, and there still isn't enough power to get my Supercruise drive to its maximum speed. Which might give you an indication of, despite the fact that this thing lets you move very fast, it does require a lot of power to do it. And on top of that, the bigger the ship you build, the more power it takes to move it at these speeds. So you can see at the bottom right, my energy is increasing, and I just got below 49. 1 more reactor should do it. And as you can see here, 50 kilometers a second is the speed limit. Now, whilst this is very fast, I did require 7 additional reactors to reach this speed. And that power cost increases the larger your ship is. So imagine how many reactors you're going to need to fuel a large ship going at these speeds. So what I'm trying to say is this Supercruise drive is balanced, despite the fact it lets you move 500 times the speed limit. So let's say we wanted to go to one of our alien planets. If I point at it, 50 kilometers a second, and when I get near gravity, it drops me out of Supercruise. And now I'm back to 100 meters a second, flying around as normal. And say I wanted to do a nice leisurely trip to Mini-Mars, I just point towards Mini-Mars and let the game do the rest. Perhaps using the Supercruise drive and Mini-Mars together wasn't a good idea, but you know, it's a thought that counts. The water mod technically came out a while ago, but after the release of Warfare 2, it got a major overhaul to a lot of its mechanics. This is because the developer of the water mod worked with Keen, so Keen would add things that he needed in order to make the water mod more realistic. So once you have the water mod installed, if you look at the planet you're on, press enter, press backslash, then W create, then if you open up the chat again, do W radius, and then set a height. So for example, I know that it needs to be at 0.02, and there you go, the water is just spawned in front of me. So here we go, we have our water, and if I go under it, I get the classic watery effects. And as you can see, it's at a set level around the planet. It's not fully simulated, obviously. We'll have to wait for Space Engineers 2 to even consider getting something like that. But it's pretty good considering the limitations of the game. If I spawn in good old faithful Apollo and turn off our engines, you'll see that Apollo slowly begins to sink. You'll notice that something interesting will happen. And that whilst the back section of Apollo will sink, the front section of the ship will stay afloat. And you see it slowly coming to level. This is because there's an air pocket in the top of Apollo. This is what I was saying about buoyancy. Previously this thing wasn't possible before the update, as you kind of have to use hydrogen tanks as buoyancy. Now with this we're actually able to simulate proper buoyancy with the air inside the ship. And just for a demonstration, I get a block out and I cut a hole here. You'll see the air goes and the ship sinks, because now it's no longer airtight and this part of the ship is no longer buoyant. So with this update and this mod, it opens a whole new way of building where you're now actually able to build ships that float on water rather than spaceships. I guess you still are really building ships, aren't you? Although if water's not your thing and you fancy something else to replace your oceans, you can always replace it with beans. Come on, Keen, when are you going to add beans to the game? Oh, I'm sorry, you just caught me admiring Bean Planet. Psych! Stealth Drive! The Stealth Drive mod consists of 2 parts. One is the big cube you can see in the middle, which is the Stealth Drive itself, and on the side you can see we have 3 heat sinks. So all the heat sinks do is allow you to stay in stealth longer. However, when you drop out of stealth, they will damage all the blocks in front of them. So you want to make sure they're on the outside of your ship. And then all you want to do once you've got it equipped to your ship is press G, go down to your menu, drag it on there, and press switch stealth. And now as if by magic, poof, we're gone. And as you can see, I'm still able to fly along as normal. So I'm flying away from Bean Planet. And as you can see, I've still got a little faint outline of my ship. Now, if I get out of the cockpit, you can see I can still see everything inside my ship, but if I open the door to get out, if I move slightly away from the ship, you can see that I can no longer see it. So basically, as long as you're inside the ship or in range of the ship, you're also invisible. So I've pasted in my cloud buster, and as you can see, this thing is absolutely littered with Gatling guns. And I've given this because I'm very generous over to the space pirates. So if I go back to my ship, I'm going to make a copy of it, and just for demonstration purpose, just to show that the weapons are live, I'm going to fly over, and you can see the Gatlings are absolutely shredding my ship apart. But the question is, if I enable the stealth drive, will I also get shot at? So we've cloaked, and now we're going to slowly edge forward. I don't appear to be getting shot. There you go. So not only is it super cool looking, I'm also right on top of the enemy ship, and I'm completely unable to be seen. Although if I shoot my own weapons, I do get shot at, so bear in mind this is only for sneaking past, not for actually being invisible in combat. Now obviously this comes with a drawback. As you can see on the back of the ship, I have had to place an extra reactor because this thing does chew through a hell of a lot of power, but it's all worth it because this mod is super cool, and not only does it look cool, it also works, which is like the best part. So, anyone else for cloaked missiles? Now, you might notice in this video we didn't cover any NPC mods, and whilst I know a couple of really cool ones have come out recently, with Grid AI imminently on the horizon, that might all change in a couple of weeks. But if there are any cool NPC mods or any other mods that you think deserve to be on the list of the best mods of this year, let me know with a comment below. And as always, like and subscribe for more Space Engineers content.
Dark with the whispering voices.